Today, a flurry of things going on, a lot more coming right up. And today we have a special guest. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Black Spring with Autumn on your Sunday. And today we have a weekend roundup with Right Wing Angel. And who knows, much more to come. Thank you guys so much for coming in. And of course, I'd like to introduce my guest today. And the guest is Right Wing Angel. How are you, Right Winged Angel?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, absolutely. And I will be calling you by your name is Oliver. I'll be referring to you as Oliver in
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
Thank you
that
so
works.
much. Thanks so much for coming on. So I know we've had a lot going on this week, and we're going to talk about a couple of things or some specific things, but then we'll become more open ended as the time goes on this segment. So we're gonna. I'll tell you just right off, just for the audience, and shout out to everybody in the stream. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn and the weekend roundup with Oliver, aka Right Winged Angel. And today we're going to be reviewing a little bit of what happened during this past week, which was a pretty big week. Everything from everything from President Trump to, of course, the media. And in this segment, we're going to talk a little bit about the debate. We're going to talk about the media roles, media bias, mail in ballots, and eventually we'll get to the president's status and where we are on that. So let's get started. Right winged Angel or Oliver, would you like to start off just a little bit? Can we start with the debate?
Yeah,
Can you
absolutely. We can start there.
Okay, well, thank you so much, and shout out to everybody in the stream. Just before we get started with the debate, that's where we're going to start. Shout out to the loyal patrons: Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Chrysler Imperial H, Let the Truth Be Told, Cold War Jesus, AZ Infidel, and Little Miss Goth. Thank you guys so much for coming in, and shout out to the loyal subscribers as well as the followers on Periscope. Thank you guys so much for coming in. So, we're talking about the debate, and we have our guest here. And Oliver, can you tell us about things that stood out to you during the debate, or what are you looking for? What are you looking for when you in a candidate, and then on top of that, what are you looking for? What are you looking to learn, or what kinds of things are important to you when it comes to a debate at this time in history?
Well, at this time in history, the only thing that I was looking for in that debate was to have Donald Trump totally demolish and expose Joe Biden. And, when you're talking about, historically what I look for in a debate, I look for a candidate who can um, maybe eloquently, but not every time eloquently, but someone who can express their ideas and the vision that they see for our country and the things that they're against and the things that they're for. So that's not really what I was looking for in this debate. Like I said, I just wanted to see Trump demolish Joe Biden. Joe Biden has been blanketed by positive media coverage. They cover his lies, they cover his deception, and all they do is demonize Donald Trump. So I just wanted to see some of those things exposed. I had a lot of my liberal friends watching the debate, and I don't believe that it went quite the way that I would want it to go for them to see. I don't think that we got to see the best out of Donald Trump, but hey, there's two more debates to go. So I think things will be different in the end.
Yeah, I can definitely speak to, or either even somewhat echo your point about like, I mean, you mentioned eloquence, and for me, it's just, I think that when it came to Trump and his position, I think he started out very well composed, and I think, as to your point, that because of the amount of media bias, or even it's almost like they behave as if they're part of the wing, they are another wing, or an arm of an extension of the Democrat Party. I think that,
Absolutely.
he was just, it's been a lot. It's been a long, if I can say, it's been a long three, three and point something years.
Yeah.
It's been long for him and for his family, and it's been long for all of us. And I just think that, I think he just kind of let go. I think he did land a lot of truth, but I think it could have gone. I think he's armed with enough. He has enough facts and enough policy and enough substance to. I don't think Joe Biden's any match for him. I really don't.
Nope.
If it's an issue of integrity, or, and I think, and I will say this to Trump's credit, I think he's actually grown into his position as president. I mean,
Right.
we've seen a transformation of Donald Trump from year one, year two, three, and I think he knows what he's dealing with, but I'm just not quite sure he's managing some of that, some of the emotion behind it. I think it's where he gets off a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that he was really frustrated with the debate and how it was moderated. You had Joe Biden, who was able to spew out fake news unstopped. The moderator never stopped him to say, "Oh no, that's not true." When he said that Donald Trump said there were good people on both sides, the moderator should have came in, because that has been debunked over and over again. He should have came in and said that, well, he did condemn white supremacists and the neo Nazis at that time. So there was no reason for Joe Biden to bring up the good people on both sides hoax that the media has been perpetrating for the past, what has it been, 3 years. They've been perpetrating this hoax about about Donald Trump, saying that the neo Nazis and the white supremacists were fine people, and that's just not true.
Yes, and they always seem to, we always have to take the tour to Charlottesville. It seems that we're
Oh, of
gonna
course.
we're gonna have that on our course for as long as he's in office. And I'm just thinking that that narrative is on. It's literally on fumes. I mean, people have been home. Some people have been locked down since March, or better in some cases. So we've all been able to. We clearly see that there's two sides, and that's not just here domestically, but friends from around the world have been able to see, even just in this, just in every week, we see there's two narratives, and even people all over the world are unclear about which one are you guys going to go with, which, for the American people, for those who are informed and who have the framework. I think we're in a good position to make that decision, but for those that are not, it's much more difficult to, the discernment is not there. So
Right.
yeah, I can see that. So yeah, so I would say, out of at the end of it, I think that, I do think that he still prevailed, even if there were some things that could have been better. But that's always, we can always improve. Everyone can always improve. And so yeah, so we can, keep going with that. So let's talk just a little bit about, the moderator. What about, were there specific things about the moderator that threw you off, or was there something very specific that he did, or what was his strategy? I mean, did you think he had a strategy or a tactic?
I honestly don't think he had a strategy. I believe that he has been infected with the fake news virus. So a lot of these stories that have been going around the media Chris Wallace actually believes them himself. So he approached this debate with those different scenarios, that those amounts of information in mind, and he went into it pretty much on Joe Biden's side. It was what it seemed like, and you can't do that. If it was, and I hate that it was on Fox News. So you would think that Fox News would be more right leaning, would have more of the factual information when it comes to Donald Trump and things that he said and the policy positions that he holds. But they didn't do a good job of that. I don't think Chris Wallace did a good job of that. I believe that he has a bias that was exposed during this debate. And if we're going to have debates going forward, we need unbiased moderators. There was an idea floating around about Joe Rogan doing a debate. I think Joe Rogan would be a good person to moderate a debate because I know he leans left, but he can see a lot of the fake news that's out there. He can kind of speak to a lot of the misinformation that's going around about Donald Trump. So the next time we need someone who is an unbiased moderator, and I've really never liked Chris Wallace. So I wasn't really a fan when they said that he was going to be the moderator of the debate. But hey, what can I do?
Yes, well, I can tell you this. I think Chris Wallace shows his bias on a daily basis. I mean, he's pretty much ready with with an attack or he has an agitative tone, even if the president comes on to Fox News. I mean, Fox has been quite stunning lately. The culture of Fox News is very much. It's very for those who are not that don't watch Fox regularly. We can see that transformation. I think there's transformations everywhere. Right. There's a shift, or either there's, I just think that that organizations are exposing themselves, they're exposing their bias, they're exposing their loyalties, and it's not hard to tell at this point.
Right. And you can see why the other news outlets do what they do, because they know there's money in it. They know there's money in this fake news. They know there's money in getting people angry and riled up for no reason. So you can see that Fox also found out that there's money to be made in these things. So you see a lot of the fake news narratives that CNN and MSNBC have been pushing that you find on Fox News now.
Yes, and I will say, and this is, I would say specifically, I think right off that when Donna Brazile appeared on Fox News for the first time, that was a cue for me to, okay, this is definitely a shift. And actually, I thought it was a bit of not a joke, but I was thinking that this won't last long. Perhaps she's just on she's corresponding. I don't know if that was their idea of shifting more, of trying to be more fair. I just, and they did it without, of course, there was no warning. To me, it was just like one day she just popped up on Fox News. And I'm just thinking, okay, I might watch a little bit less of this. I mean, so
Hey, Autumn, yes. Is your camera supposed to be? Because I don't see you.
I took it out. I took it out. I mean, I can put it back in, but
oh no, it's fine. It's fine. I thought you didn't click a button. I was like, oh, let me let her know if she didn't know.
No, I took myself out. I might bring myself back in. I do that sometimes.
Okay, no, it's cool. It's cool. However you want to do it.
Yes, but I'll just take a quick moment and just say that yes, thank you so much for coming on to this stream, because I said we have another big week coming up, and I think that the media is becoming, is it possible for them to become more vicious and more vile in their spin on the truth?
Hey, you never know. They've surprised me before, but hey. We could end up with a lot of bad things going on in the media.
That's true. So what do you think? I mean, we are talking a little bit about the media. Now, do you typically watch or do you compare CNN, if you will, a CNN and an MSNBC or even a C-SPAN, or do you do any of those? Do you watch any of those? Maybe kind of you know, running next to each other in terms of just to see the difference in the spin, or do you do that, or do you tend to just go with other sources to begin with?
So I can't watch CNN because it will make me nauseous and I don't want to throw up all over my house. So I won't watch CNN. I won't watch MSNBC. But there are a lot of people who do watch those networks and they post videos. So if somebody posts a video and it sounds like something crazy, then I'll go back and I'll watch the whole segment just to make sure that they didn't take anything out of context. And nine chances out of 10, it's not out of context. They just said something really horrible. So I can't watch CNN, MSNBC. What I do watch is, I don't want to be biased just like the left is. So if I said that I only watch right wing news sources, then I can gain some kind of bias from that. So usually I make my own news. I'll have to research different topics on my own just so I can get the truth. I spend a lot of time on YouTube. I spend a lot of time reading news articles. So I spend a lot of time doing my own research. And I found that's the best way to get to the truth. We have a lot of fake news floating around out there, a lot of different bits of information that aren't true or that are kind of twist and turned in a way that makes it fit their narrative. So you can't trust the news. You definitely can't trust MSNBC. You definitely can't trust CNN. And sometimes you can't trust Fox. So where do we go? We have to do our own research.
Yes, I can definitely see that. That's become much more clear over the last almost 4 years, believe it or not. But I say
Yeah.
this, I encourage my channel members or subscribers to, be your own best fact checker, because,
Yeah.
you come here and you're getting things from me, but then you can question that. I challenge everything, that's what I look at everything, and
Right.
look at it twice if it's necessary. It's not about, to me, it's just about having the framework and enough concepts to discern when it's necessary. Because sometimes when I mentioned earlier about people being, with there being two narratives out there, and people from all over the world and here domestically can't really discern. That's because if you come into this for one episode and you've missed the whole season, it is quite confusing
Absolutely.
what's going on. So yeah, so I encourage everyone to look at other sources, and and go with that as much as possible. So
Yeah.
yes, so what we'll do is we will move on to a little bit on the mail-in ballots.
Oh, that's a fun topic.
I'd like to I'd like to talk about that, and I'd like to make sure that we're clear, because it seems like many people don't really understand the difference between, they say, well, okay, of course, in the words of Hillary Clinton, the mail-in voting is fine. It's like, spoken like a true elite, right? But unfortunately, we have a low level of civic education and understanding, as well as the
Right.
difference between an absentee ballot versus a mass mailer. And I take issue as an American with anything with the integrity of a sale paper, or something that could wind up on my windshield, or wind up on the mailbox, or just wind up in the yard. So if that's the integrity of our process, I think we're in the
You're in
collapse
trouble.
mode.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me know, what do you think about the mail-in ballots, and what state are you in? Can you tell us about some of the dynamics there, or what kind of things are you hearing about in your area?
So I'm in Texas. I'm in a red state. I have not received a ballot in the mail. I know a lot of people in other states that say they have. Some people said they've received multiple ballots. Some people say they received ballots for people who don't even live at that address. So the mail-in voting system is broken. It's definitely not a system that we can trust to give us a fair and balanced election. But what the fake news media will do a lot of times, they will say that, well, we've been doing mail in ballots for this many years or whatever. And they say that, well, Trump did a mail in ballot. It's like, no, there's a difference between an absentee ballot and a mail in ballot. They like to conflate the two like they're the same thing. They're not the same thing. And anybody who's watching who doesn't know this, an absentee ballot, someone sends off for it, like you request an absentee ballot. So this ballot comes to you, it's for you, you were looking for it, and this is your ballot that you get to send in. A mail-in ballot is just mass ballots just mailed out random, well, not randomly, but to addresses that they have on file. Some people who are deceased now will receive a mail-in ballot. And then someone can go ahead and fill out that mail-in ballot and then put a signature on it and then send it in. And what the Democrats are doing, they're trying to make it to where if the signatures don't match, that there's some shady stuff that they can do to make sure that that ballot still gets counted. So the Democrats, I believe, are trying to cheat. I think that's the only reason that we're talking about mail-in ballots right now. We've seen a lot of instances where ballots end up in the trash and dumpsters. We see postal workers who are dumping ballots, dumping mail in places that they shouldn't be dumped. So you have a lot of that going on. You just have a lot of fraud that has been picked up. And some people will say, well, it's not fraud, but they have been some instances where politicians have been arrested for fraud when it comes to voter fraud. So we have to keep our election fair. That's the only way we'll know who the people want in the White House. And what the Democrats are trying to do is just blatant cheating. Dr. Fauci has come out and said that there's no reason if we do all the safety precautions like social distancing and wearing masks, there's no reason that we can't vote in person.
Well, thank you so much for bringing up up Dr. Fauci, because I think there are some Americans that Dr. Fauci has been their go-to guy for this entire time, and then there's those of
Exactly.
us who have more sources for health, or even some of us have even deferred to our own physicians because
Right.
of the because of the I because of the flip flopping between the CDC and the information. You have so many, just as much as you've had information campaigns, you have misinformation campaigns, and I think they're just as strong. And I think one is more relenting than others. So yes, I think that's a great point on what Dr. Fauci has said about in-person voting versus the mail-in mail-in campaign, if you will.
Now let me touch on that point really quick. I have something else that I wanted to say about that. So you have social media who is doing its darndest to try to get people um, not to question mail-in ballots. I had a meme that I posted, and it was a joke. I said that all we have to do is put voting booths in Targets and Walmarts, since the virus apparently can't go there. And I say that because we're allowed to go grocery shopping every single day. We wear masks, we social distance, we do everything we're supposed to do, we sanitize our hands. So if millions of people can go to grocery stores every single day, why can't people go to voting polling places? Why is that an issue, but we can't go to Target? And I mean, why is that an issue, but we can go to Target and Walmart and there's no problem? And guess what? Instagram deleted my meme and said it was false information and it was a joke.
Wow. Well, it's amazing what they're investing in redirecting people.
Yeah, they want you to believe a certain thing, and if you don't believe that, then they will come after you. That's just what it is.
Well, that's very interesting to hear that, and I'm doing this a little bit impromptu, but even ladies and gentlemen of the channel and of this stream, thank you guys so much for being here. But I would like for you guys to get to know each other as much as you can. As I say this all the time, even this is not though this is not a growth stream, you guys are always encouraged to get to know each other, and we're going to have a point in which we will do that. We will make sure that we know where to find Right Winged Angel and much more. So I appreciate you guys so much for being here. And also, yes, I would love to. Since we're on it, can you tell us give us your Instagram handle, your handle for that?
And my handle is right_winged, WINGED_angel.
Okay. And we'll do more of it later, but I thought, well, hey, they might be curious already, so I'll just go ahead and give them a little bit of a bite there. So
Yeah, little plug.
Yeah, without a doubt. Thanks so much for doing that. And
Okay.
also, can you and we're still on media because the media has shaped, I'm going to be honest, the media has shaped so much of this presidency,
Yep.
as well as the most critical times and the most critical events of this presidency it's been controlled by the media. And so, with that said, it's kind of bringing me to the unfortunate contraction with the president contracting this this virus. I'm gonna call it virus, and we'll see what the powers that be think. The technocrats, what they might try to do. We might get
Yeah.
a little blib in here. So I'll call it the virus, or I'll call it the CV. So that's what I'm using on this one. But I mean, what was your reaction? What was your reaction? Or what's been your response to, because we've got some bitter, vicious, vile Americans out there that whether they consider themselves Americans or not, whether they consider themselves global citizens, we've got a lot of bitter and angry people out there. And I'm sure you've seen it, but just if you'll just let me know what do you think about that, and then just even going forward with the media, even there's two narratives even on that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So when I first got word that Donald Trump had the coronavirus, I was like, oh my God, well, first was, yeah, we got to pray for the president. I don't think that this virus is as horrible as what the media is saying, but still, he's 74 years old. Um, he's a tad bit overweight, but we don't know how it could turn out. So let's just all be in prayer for our president. But I made a video and I posted it on YouTube, and what I was basically saying was this can go one of two ways. The president can get the virus, and then he can take a turn for the worse, end up to where he's having trouble breathing and he needs hospitalization, he's on a ventilator, whatever the worst case scenario is, not death, but up into that. And I said that the media would take that and they would use it against him. They would say that he put Americans in danger and even put himself in danger. So that should tell you right there that he shouldn't be running the country, blah, blah, blah. So I said, well, if they took that, like that would end up really bad for the president. But I said, if the inverse happened and he only got mild symptoms, he um, didn't need this vigorous treatment, and he was able to come out of this pretty much unscathed, then Donald Trump could use that to say that the media has pretty much been lying to the American people this whole time, trying to incite a panic, trying to make sure that this coronavirus, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to say the word, but this CV, sorry,
All
will
right.
will kill our country and everybody in it. Like that was their narrative. But if he came out unscathed, then he can pretty much say, hey, they've been lying and I'm fine. I'm 74 years old. I'm a tad bit overweight, but I made it out. So that means that we need to open everything up. We need to get everybody back to work. We need to get our economy going again. We need to get our schools open. And that would be the dagger in Joe Biden's campaign because his major talking point was the coronavirus. So if Trump can say that he pulled out of the coronavirus and he was fine, then I don't know what the Democrats will be able to come up with.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Yes, I think you're right. Biden has very little to he has very little substance to work with, and I think that was really apparent in the during the debate. So
Yeah,
if yeah, I think it'll be a huge testament to, I mean, not only the human spirit, but to the manageability of the CV or whatever.
the
I mean,
CV,
yeah,
yeah,
you don't have to. If we're allowed at least three of them.
the thing we can't talk about.
Yes, yes. So yeah, I agree. I hope that he will be. It looks like I even saw where it was not a 14-day, maybe it's a 10-day. It's a 10-day in which a 10-day quarantine, or maybe it's something like
Yeah,
that. Let me
yeah.
see.
So the CDC has come out and changed their guidelines, and I knew this firsthand because I went and got a CV test last week. So I knew this firsthand. They told me that um, 10 days from the day you got tested, you wait 10 days, and then you can go back to normal activity. They said that because what happened before is you used to have to get a negative test before you were able to return to work and get out of quarantine. I had someone that I knew that tested positive. They only had loss of sense of smell and taste. That was their only symptom. But they couldn't go back to work for a month because they kept testing positive. So, what the guy told me when I was getting tested was that the test even picks up a dead virus. So that's why this person was she kept coming up positive because it's reading a dead virus. So that's why the CDC changed their guidelines to say 10 days because once 10 days has passed, they said you're pretty much not contagious anymore.
Wow, that's great information. That's great information that you've been following that. Yeah, so I really appreciate that. So those were pretty much the specific things that I wanted to get into, but I wanted to kind of give you an opportunity to talk about, I mean, any specific any specific topic that you wanted to maybe discuss, or just even maybe bring some awareness or bring some informational framework to what's happening around us. I mean, there's a confluence of agitation and factors going on between violence and just every on every level, it seems.
Yeah. So, yeah, and we can talk about that because that's my major thorn in my side. Black Lives Matter. That's Black Lives Matter red pilled me. I'll tell you that, or they helped to red pill me. So I think that's a good topic to get into, especially since we just had the grand jury decision about Breonna Taylor. I'm not sure where you stand on that situation, but we can definitely talk about those things because it's something that it's affecting everyone's life, I should say.
Well, the thing that I will say about the Breonna Taylor situation is that it started out similar to the way most of it's the reaction to what happened is similar to a lot of the other police interactions or police events that we've had, and the violence behind it. And I'm just thinking that it's like many others. It's going to continue to be a developing story. And what I can see when you have conversations, or if you're not even having a conversation, if you're just witnessing a conversation, that there's two narratives. There's two narratives going on. And depending on which one, just I mean, I don't think that our news or the journalism was lack this much veracity as much as it does now. It's the worst I've ever seen it. And of
Right.
course it causes a lack of trust from the people. I mean, how can the people trust media after this? How can, I mean, there's a lot of distrust right now.
Well, it depends on who you are. For some reason, Black people trust the media a lot to get their information, and I'm shocked by that. I was thinking like, okay, if Black people are so distrusting of white people right now, you're getting all this information from white people. So how do you not trust some white people in terms of police officers? They don't trust them. They don't trust anybody that's white in Republican government, but they feel like they can trust all Democrats, and they feel like they can trust all media outlets who say things that they want to hear. And that's what's pretty much going on right now. The media is telling people, or some people, what they want to hear. And they are sparking emotional outrage because it generates views for their shows, it generates clicks on their website, which in turn generates money for them. And that's what this is all about. Like I said earlier, Fox News saw that they could make money with this racial unrest, with these fake news stories about police officers and how evil they are, and how Black people are just all innocent victims and fighting against racism and oppression. Fox News saw that too. So why do you trust some people and not others? Why do you trust the people who are making money off of lying to you? It's so blatantly obvious what we're seeing right now. And it's been happening since 2014, 2015. And when I say that it red pilled me, it's because when I looked at certain cases, Mike Brown was the first one where I started paying attention. And I saw that the media was saying things that were totally contradictory to what the evidence was. And we have social media, we have the internet, and if we want to, we can look up certain things. But the media thought we wouldn't be intelligent enough to look up these situations. So they just told us what some people wanted to hear, and it caused riots, it caused civil unrest, and if we would have let it, it would have caused the destruction of our country.
Yes, I can definitely, I definitely have seen, I have seen enough of the same. You know, they pull on the heartstrings. They have the same approach to everything.
Right.
They frame everything, and then the fallout happens. I mean, they actually kind of drizzle out pieces of a story, and then by the time the whole thing comes together, you know, the reaction is already in full swing. So there's no turning back. There's no, you can't plug, or what is it, you can't put the genie back in the bottle
Right.
because they've already activated. And some people are highly reactive. You know, they don't need, some people don't need any explanation for what's behind something. They don't look for that. And that's not the way that I think. That's just not. And that was prior, and I don't consider myself a red pillar, But I've always thought that, that the left was a bit contradictory to, more than a bit. They're quite contradictory to what they say their platform is. I actually don't think they have a platform. I think it's whatever the con is, that
Right.
whatever the banner is what we're doing right now. And they're just, they'll put anybody on the front of that banner.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anybody who they know will push their cause. You know, one thing that I always tell people, and I heard somebody else say this, on the Democratic side, they're always pushing for these social programs. They're always pushing for poor people, and that's the only people that sometimes it feels like they're speaking to. They're not speaking to the middle class. They're not speaking to the upper middle class. They're only speaking to poor people, illegal immigrants, and things like that. So if a party is all for poor people, so they know that they feel like their constituents are poor people. So don't you think they would be invested in keeping you poor? If the other party they say is for the rich, the only people they care about is the rich. So wouldn't they be invested in trying to make more rich people? Because that's their voters, right?
Yes, yes, and I find that from the Black community's perspective, I find many people that say they're able to take a, well, my family's always voted Democrat or for the left, or, oh, they're for the poor people. And actually, those were the first times, those were the first times I've ever heard those. I mean, nobody in my family's not political, and no one offered
Hmm.
me a reason, and no one discussed politics. I assumed that that's what they were going out, who they were going out pulling that lever for. And I'm thinking, they step in long enough for the every 4 years, and then they're back out into the world, and no one offered me that. But I always knew that there was something quite off. And because, I mean, most people say, and I think it's true for the most part, that most blacks or African American, whichever way you want to spin, they're generally conservative. They're
They
I
have
just think that's,
conservative ideals.
yeah. So it's just, it's absolutely the antithesis of the things. It's not just what they. I'm thinking that even if you have no framework or concepts to work with, well, you can look at what somebody does. If what somebody does is different from what they say, then that's what,
Right.
I think that's enough. That's that's enough.
Right.
So,
Right.
that's
But
that's it.
it's a lot of this victim mentality that a lot of our people like to hold on to. And the only political party who's continuing to sell that victim mentality is the Democrats. And on the right side, it's a lot of accountability. It's a lot of pull yourself up by your bootstraps, get to work, do what you need to do to succeed. There's a lot of that. And I feel like a lot of times we don't want that hard work. We don't want to feel like we have to work for everything we get. Sometimes we just want that handout. And that's not the way to go. I've learned in my life that when I get something and I earn it, that feels a hell of a lot better than somebody just handing something to me.
Yes, yes. I think you treat things a lot differently when you when you do work for things. You have there's a much different appreciation for it. And I think there's a much different appreciation for it. So yes, I totally agree. So hang on just a second. I think I've
Sure.
had a bit of a mess here. So is there anything else that you wanted to share specifically? I'm going to bring in another voice on this, if that's okay, unless you want to do
Yeah,
something else.
absolutely.
Okay.
No, no,
So
no. You go ahead, bring them on.
we're gonna have DJ Vision Barnett come in, and you guys, the stream. I think something weird's going on here, so just give me a second here. I will fix it right up. So I'm going to bring DJ Vision Barnett, which DJ Vision is a regular on the show, and he's familiar with the show, and he's going to come in. Welcome in, DJ Vision Barnett. How are you? Thanks so much.
Hey,
Appreciate you both. Both of y'all are my friends, and appreciate you for having me come on. We about to get into this.
hey, what's up, bro?
All right, all is well, man. All is well.
So, DJ, we were talking about. Oliver was talking about the just we're talking about the media and the BLM and all the dynamics surrounding that movement. And to me, I think that the media is in lockstep with some of these kind of paramilitaries or these groups that are marching around for whatever reason. I think there's a lot of I think that there's actually more thought. Some people are thinking that are out there, but some of them are just. I don't think so. I think they're misguided, and they are. Yes, they're being manipulated. They're being used. So I'll you guys go ahead. I'm going to fix up something real quick, and I'm right here. So just keep going. Keep going.
I mean, they are being used. We definitely got lawyers lined up with George Soros to let half of the people that are doing some of these demonstrations and riots out of jail. I have to get, once again, I announced it before, but I have to get the name of the specific movement that are letting these people out of jail. The movement is big, but it's a specific name to a movement to let these people out of jail. Act something. I forget the name. I apologize. I forget
Was
the
it
name.
Act Blue?
Nope. It's based on funding from lawyers that's directly connected to George Soros, say, i.e., the lady who drove the U-Haul that had a whole bunch of signs and shields and whatnot, and she ended up getting locked up. But I'm about to find that information, but stand by. Keep going.
Okay, yeah, I mean, you can see that there's somebody out there that's pulling the puppet strings with all of these movements. Black Lives Matter. You have Antifa, but there's definitely somebody out there that's funding all this because these people they look like they're I don't know living at home in their mom's basement or something. So I don't see how they come up with all this money to buy all these things that they use these Molotov cocktails, this um, fire bombs, all these fireworks that the commercial grade fireworks that they're using. So where are they getting all this stuff? Somebody is financing this. And you can see that on the left, they want this anarchy, they want this civil unrest because they believe it makes Donald Trump look bad. But I think they're going to be shocked come November when we see that a lot of American people see what's going on. They're not falling for this charade that the left is perpetrating, and they're going to come out en masse and vote for Donald Trump.
Of course, I mean, it's funny because they're trying to use the fact that he's under a condition against him, but do they ever think if he fully recovers in a short amount of time than what you thought, that 14-day gap, say 10 days, like you said, is that gonna put a bow on your angle? Like if you're going for that one angle, promoting his death, putting the Simpsons meme of him being twisted like this and all that other stuff. Like, how far are you gonna go when it doesn't work?
Right.
I think the first thing you're gonna do is hit the streets. Oh, he ain't died. And you're gonna hit the streets. That's the very first thought that you're gonna have if you're Antifa and Black Lives Matter.
Oh yeah, they will. They will. And it's sad. It's unfortunate that there are a lot of people that are praying and hoping that this man dies. But I think we've seen the inverse of that. I mean, they're saying that Trump will probably be released from the hospital tomorrow. He looked great on his videos. He released a video yesterday. He released a video today, just updating the American people about his condition and about his wife's condition. So we saw how good he looked. And they won't go ahead. What'd you say?
I'm about to say the funding network that bails these people out are called the Bail project. Now I got it. The Bail
Okay.
Project.
Okay.
So
The Bail
everybody can look
Project.
that up and everything. George Soros funded it, all that good stuff. The only person who was able to speak on it on the actual channel and the actual segment was Tucker Carlson. Everybody else, they didn't allow them to. I think it's because he writes his own stuff. Only reason why I know, I used to work at MSNBC and Fox doing security, so they kind of like blurted out loud in the lobby who
Yeah.
writes their own stuff. So there you go.
Wow. Yeah. That's sad. That's sad. I think Kamala Harris, she campaigned to get money for that same project, right?
Yep, she joined it. She joined it because she is the person who got out Jacob Blake and called him a hero. You don't call him a hero without funding him to make sure he stays out of jail
Yeah.
and that the family gets $12 million. So obviously it was a deal that happened, but we need to understand how these things work.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of manipulation of simple minds, I would say. I wouldn't call anybody stupid, but a lot of simple minds out there that just believe whatever the media tells them to believe because they have confirmation bias. I know, and you know, black people can be some racist people. We have a lot of negative things to say about white people a lot of the time.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, we went from the Louis Farrakhan idea, the white
yep,
man is the devil, to
yep,
that's the reason why Malcolm X got killed, and I definitely have a segment on Malcolm X. I will show directly speaking on the Democratic Party and that we have been bamboozled
yep,
specifically in the Democratic Party.
yep.
Whenever Black Spring with Autumn shares my screen, I'll be able to present that narrative to you. But
Yeah.
as of right now, let's keep going.
Yeah. So, we have this ire towards white people that we've been having for a long time. Now I understand in the 60s and 70s, justifiable. We were treated like crap. But in the 2000s, 2020, that stuff is not happening anymore. So
Right.
we gotta let that go. We gotta advance to another level and leave all the hurt from our ancestors behind us. But I think what that ire created was a confirmation bias. So if we believe that white people are evil and they want to cause us harm and that's all they want to do, they want to destroy us, they want to tear us down because our black is so beautiful and they're scared of us. So when you see these situations where it's a police officer and they're white, or it's a white person and it involves another black person, then they automatically think that that white person had ill intent in their actions. You can't say that this white woman who is being harassed by these black people because she didn't say excuse me when she was going out the door, that they're harassing her, they're standing behind her car and won't let her leave. When she pulls a gun on them, it's only because she's racist and wanted to kill them, not because she was in fear for her life, because she's been watching the news and seeing random white people attacked by black people because they're so angry.
Angry, standing in front of the truck, and they're trying to leave. So I guess I'm supposed to just stand here. You beat my truck. You accuse me of running you over, but you're in front of my truck.
Yeah.
It gets to a point where common sense it just goes out the
Yeah,
window.
common sense just has to kick in at some point, but it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. It's just like
Because
hopping on top of a police car and then going, "Oh my!" when he keeps driving.
right.
Your
Yeah.
mom didn't teach you to not hop on police cars. Your parents, both of them, dad, mom, you were raised to just jump on police cars and go. Oh, if I fall, police brutality. You gotta get out of my face with that. You just look. That's when you can say stupid. Because with stupid
Yeah, I'll say stupid for that.
games, stupid prizes. You know,
Yeah.
I believe in
Yep.
that 100%. You play stupid games, you get stupid prizes.
Yep. And that happens a lot. But we have been trained to blame other people. We've been trained to blame white people when we receive our stupid prize and it's wrapped nicely with the bow on top. It's all white people's fault.
With the bow on top, shout out to ABL.
Yeah.
I had to throw that in there.
you,
But
you
hey,
caught that reference.
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
So,
but I mean, we got to do something, man. I believe that as conservatives, I believe as free thinkers, people who have rational thought, like we have to do what we can to try to dispel these false narratives that the media is creating. But it is very, very hard. I have a group of liberal friends, Democrat friends, and I speak to them about these situations. They know I support Trump. They know I hate Black Lives Matter, but they they believe that police officers are evil and they're out killing black people, hunting black people down,
just
and
mowing
it's
us
just not cool.
down. Just drive. They think that police just
Hunting black,
wake up one day driving. Oh, there you go, a nigga.
yep,
We're gonna come back and get him. Like,
yep,
come on.
yep. Not one situation out of all the years that we've been talking about Black Lives Matter, not one situation have we seen where it was just a cop who just shot a random black dude for no reason at all. Like there was no confrontation. He just shot him for no reason. I haven't seen
Right,
that.
right. And I'm about to play this segment. Then we got some commentary on that. This is definitely based on the Democratic Party from your boy before he passed away, Malcolm X. Let's get it.
Any party that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse.
Yes, sir.
You're the one who has that power. You can keep Johnson in Washington, D.C., or you can send him back to his Texas cotton patch. You're the one who sent Kennedy to Washington. You're the one who put the present Democratic administration in Washington, D.C.
Yes,
The
sir.
whites were evenly divided. It was the fact that you threw 80% of your votes behind the Democrats that put the Democrats in the White House. When you see this, you can see that the Negro vote is the key factor. And despite the fact that you are in a position to be the determining factor, what do you get out of it? The Democrats have been in Washington, D.C. only because of the Negro vote. They've been down there 4 years. And all other legislation they wanted to bring up, they brought it up and gotten it out of the way, and now they bring up you. And now they bring up you. You put them first, and they put you last. Because you're a chump.
You're a chump, Democrats. You're a chump. Heard it from your boy.
A political chump. In Washington, D.C., in the House of Representatives, there are 257 who are Democrats. Only 177 are Republicans. In the Senate, there are 67 Democrats. Only 33 are Republicans. The party that you bash controls 2/3 of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and still they can't keep their promise to you because you're a chump.
I love it. Love it.
Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that controls 2/3 of the government, and that party can't keep the promise that it made to you during election time, and you're dumb enough to walk around continuing to identify yourself with that party, you're not only a chump, but you're a traitor to your race. And what kind of alibi do they come up with? They try and pass the buck to the Dixiecrats. Now, back during the days when you were blind, deaf, and dumb, ignorant, politically immature, naturally you went along with that. But today, as your eyes come open and you develop political maturity, you're able to see and think for yourself. And you can see that a Dixiecrat is nothing but a Democrat in disguise.
All right. So
Yes, sir.
for listening to that one. And that's just today, right now. It's just That's how it is.
Right.
It's crazy that
Yep.
certain people got the wisdom to preach about that, even if they had to die. The wisdom to preach about that back in the day, it was courage. Wisdom and courage. It takes courage, really. The fact that he went against his previous party and constituents, and then rose in political maturity, as he would say. He was no longer a baby, he became an adult in politics.
Yep.
So now you understand the difference between somebody who's just entertainment, going to work, coming home, ain't got time to look at nothing, and then vote, versus somebody who looks up who they're voting, go from local to the highest office. It shows you maturity.
Yep, definitely shows maturity. I think we need to get back to that, like voting for our best interests. We have pretty much sold out.
Sold our souls.
Party. Yep, to where they don't feel like they have to do anything for us. As you can see, Donald Trump came with his platinum plan. What did the Democrats have? Diddy, Ice Cube, they all came out and said that, well, what do these politicians have for black people? I want to see a black agenda before I give them my vote.
What, $50 billion towards black entrepreneurs? There you go. Platinum plan.
That was a bunch of BS, because you actually have a candidate, Donald Trump, that came out and said, hey, black people, this is my plan. This is what I have for you. And did you see Diddy or Ice Cube come out and say, oh, I reviewed Donald Trump's plan? Either said it was good or it was bad. Like, they didn't say anything. But you said you were waiting for somebody to give you a plan. Donald Trump gave you a plan and you said nothing. The fact of the matter is, all they were looking for was a Democrat plan, because they know they're never going to vote for anyone other than a Democrat.
Exactly.
It's sad. It is very sad. There's no reason for them to do that. There's no reason for them to swear their allegiance to one political party that isn't doing anything for them.
Well, unless that political party promised them a specific amount of money to them and their family, and that's it, and they don't care about nobody else. That would be one reason to do it. And I'm realizing that also combined with blackmail. I'm realizing that has been the reason that has been brought up, i.e. The Rock. The Rock was a big person that was on a animation. I'm hearing he was on an animation based on some racial controversy. I'm gonna have to pull that up, but that definitely is gonna play a big head in the fact that these Hollywood stars are randomly coming out supporting Bernie Sanders and has no verbal way to say I support the facts or legislations or the plans. They can't say none of that. All they can say is it's important to vote, and I support Bernie Sanders. That don't mean nothing to me. Why?
You mean Joe Biden?
Why?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I don't get it. And then, our entertainers are not doing anything to educate anyone, because the thing is, no matter who's president, they'll still be fine. They'll still get their millions of dollars. They'll still get to live in their mansions. Nothing will happen to them, no matter who's president. But for the average American like you and me, the president's policies, the Congress policies, they affect our lives every day. So that's why we're fighting like we are, to get the person that we feel benefits us the most in office. But these celebrities, they have no stake in the game. Nothing's going to happen if to them if Joe Biden destroys the middle class. They'll still have their money, because for some reason, we all find a way to support these celebrities. We all find a way to watch sports. We all find a way to watch movies. So these celebrities, they do what they want.
Pretty much. That's Hollywood for you.
Well,
But,
I just want to interject here, if I may. I'm sorry, I had to do
sure.
some housekeeping on the back end there, but I find that these celebrities are there. I think there's a culture in idolizing celebrities just because they're celebrities. They're not really looking. They don't really look at them as real people, or it's just this enchantment, or I have to support this because this person's a celebrity. That's all the credibility that I need, and I think that's that's very weak, and it's very unfounded, and I think that's why a lot of people look to these athletes. They don't have they haven't been given inspiration to do anything else other than to be an actor, a singer, a dancer, or you've seen the way that they've mocked Ben Carson, of all people. Trevor Noah is essentially an immigrant.
Right.
I've seen him mock Ben Carson. I've seen him mock him for the same kind of use the same type of rhetoric that they use on MSNBC when it comes to Dr. Carson, marking the way he's speaking, mocking. That's pretty bad. There used to be a time in which the Black community or African Americans, there were certain things that they wouldn't put out in the open for, they call it family. Oh, don't tell the family. And they talked about that in reference to letting white people know the kind of things, the way that Black people thought. But just look at it. It's all out. They've left it all out on the table now. And now everybody's starting to see the cancer within, the kind of abuse and the kind of things that we do to ourselves, that we do to our own people. And
yeah.
So I'm saying it's an attack on those who are not only thinking for themselves, but living their lives with some level of standards or with some level of values. And I have an issue with Hollywood for that. I don't need an Oprah Winfrey to help me to think or how to figure out how to feel. I mean, they're a part of the machine, is mainly what I want to say. So guys, we're gonna keep this under under 2 hours today. So that's just FYI for everybody out there. So we'll have another video, and then we'll go into mostly just kind of comments and some of our last comments here. All right, guys. So we'll share this video here.
Appreciate you. And this came from Chief and Americano, the new heading onto the 2020 Trump train with your big boy, MAGA Hawk, and others. We, as far as they're communicating with me and communicating with Black Spring with Autumn, we will be definitely featuring them in our podcast as well pretty soon. But they're on the ground recently, in the past week, with all of these rallies. So we definitely got to keep up the good work, and we got to get the good word in. But I appreciate everybody for follow, share, and subscribe to all our channels, and I appreciate y'all for coming. Let's get it.
Our morals and our values for our country. You look at the Biden side, there's no.
By the way, this is called
You Ain't Black. There's no one there for Biden. You ain't black.
And you ain't black.
See, that's the thing that's so beautiful when we go out there. There's so many. It's so much love. You compare mind you, we are in liberal LA.
Yes.
Okay,
liberal blue country,
LA.
supposedly.
Yes.
Liberal
So we are out there strong for Trump. We're out there strong for our right,
country.
for our morals and our values for our country. You look at the Biden side, there's no passion, there's no enthusiasm, there's no one there for Biden.
There's no one there. There's 3 people possibly paid.
You want to know why? Because they don't have a campaign. The whole campaign is
burning down America.
Exactly.
Burning down America. That's their plan.
I saw when Jill is now kind of running the campaign and being out there, and I saw there was 3 guys, right? 3 men in suits waving too, and I was like, that's probably her Secret Service.
right. Riding in cars.
Hey, got her Secret Service.
She's waving at 3 cars.
That car parade.
Yeah,
the
well,
car
Trump
parade.
got trains.
Trucks, boat parade.
Boats.
Yeah, his lines go around the block.
Yeah, exactly.
But nobody likes him.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
Well, I did see this funny meme that said Donald Trump has been to 3 rallies in 24 hours. Joe Biden made 2 Zoom calls.
Yes.
From his
And he
basement.
spent after that.
From
He
his
is
bunker
spent.
basement.
From his
Like,
bunker.
he's like, oh, what a
From
day.
his- oh,
What
wait.
time is it? 9 a.m.
I gotta go to
Solid.
Yep.
We are done, Joe. You
Gotta
just
get
went
my
to the
rest.
bathroom, man.
Yeah, man. But there's so much enthusiasm for Trump, but there is zero enthusiasm for Biden because his whole campaign hinges on we hate Trump.
Yeah.
We want you to hate Trump.
Yeah.
It's not that look at what we're doing to help America.
Yep.
Look what we're doing to help the black community. It's just hate Trump.
But we
Yeah.
still
Don't
love
look at
you.
us.
But,
Just hate Trump.
Hate Trump.
but we
Mhm.
still love you.
Well, and
We
that's
still love
powerful.
Yeah, we
Like-
come on over here. You know, we'll love on you.
Yeah, well, that hatred of Trump is powerful,
Mm.
and
It
I
is,
am
but
worried.
it's not as powerful as this love for the
Yeah.
country.
Very
You look
Oh,
at you
tell
look
it.
at everything, right? They need to stay that to be angry, you need it to be up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People aren't seeing that. People are upset now and they're turned away from what has been destroyed in their own communities.
Mm.
You're seeing that. So for the person, what you will get more of is complacency.
Mm.
More people will be like, you know what, screw this, right? As
That's
opposed
true.
to what we're seeing grow is a love and a passion for where we live and for the ideals of this country. What's the love and passion they have? Nothing. They just have hate and chaos. You saw the Proud Boys set them up like 2 weeks ago, and they
Yeah.
went to this park
Yep.
and then started beating each other up. The reporters, like that shit doesn't go anywhere. It's chaos. There's no direction.
Yeah.
So like that chaos can be stomped out, especially as we're unifying. As
Yes,
we're
the
collecting.
love.
We're,
the
we're
love.
getting closer. man.
Yes,
It's-
yes.
It's the narrative. It's the infrastructure to tell you look out for this. And they sit there on Twitter. Oh, we're gonna burn the place down. They don't
Well,
have.
see,
they're
that's
losing
what I
people.
worry
People
about.
People getting cuffed
Turned
up.
off. They're
They're getting
Well-
cuffed up, getting 10 years now. This shit's getting real.
That's freaking
Rico's
awesome.
coming
Yeah.
soon.
No,
Wow.
see,
Yes,
I get
indeed.
that it's
Yes,
getting
sir.
real. I get that it's getting real, and my question is, what about Amy Comey Barrett? Actually, I boshed her name. Sorry about that. But like, we got a
Let's just
Supreme.
call her ACB, right?
Yeah, ACB, exactly. Which is gonna be like,
Sound like some crew ACB.
it's kind of funny how everybody's got an acronym
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
RB
AOC, yeah.
exactly.
TDS.
LOL.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about the Supreme Court justice nomination? I literally feel like I'm living under this looming specter of war. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like it's
Well, I feel like what we have to see is no matter what,
Mhm.
right?
What
Any real
candidate?
gain for the right or for this country, it's going to be used as the thing that they can get people mad to come
You
out.
got it. You got it.
The level of it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like Breonna Taylor is going to get the same thing out after they confirm her, which got the same thing out after
Mhm.
George Floyd, which will get the same thing out after a lied and say like the cops shot a guy who actually shot at them first in Chicago.
Yeah.
Same thing in Rochester, New York,
Yep.
where
Yeah.
a video from 6 months ago gets people out because the guy ran out. It doesn't matter. And so when you're prepared for that now, that's the difference. Instead of going, oh my God, like I'm scared that this could happen. It's like, no, I know it's gonna happen.
Mhm.
Now people are like,
Yep.
and when
People are a
they're
lot more
cowards
aware.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They do it at the middle of the night or in groups and packs, like lynch
Mhm.
mobs that everyone
Yep.
wants to talk about in history.
Yep.
But they're
Yeah.
cowards. Stand up and look them in the eye, and you'll see there is a
Ooh.
fucking difference. There's something that doesn't happen.
Yes,
There's-
sir.
they shrink
Mhm.
down
Yep.
because the thing is, men have been told too many times to sit back. It's done.
Yep.
It's over.
yeah, and I definitely think that also conservatives in general and at large need to be more okay with saying, "Hey, no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
reached.
It's done.
reached.
It's done.
This is no longer about making accommodations for disadvantaged
Right.
people.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is about a power dynamic in which
That's it.
evil is progressing
Yep.
in our society,
Yep.
and you don't keep watering weeds.
Ooh,
Exactly.
come on.
Do we have a bit of a glitch there? I'm not sure what happened there. Oh. Not sure what happened there.
Good.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thanks so much for sharing that, DJ. I mean, as you can see, that's I think is that out of LA area. Yes, and that's what I thought. I wasn't exactly sure, but you're getting a different. You can see that there's a shift. I think that there's shifts that are happening everywhere. The shifts that are happening in Hollywood. There's shifts that are happening in Beverly Hills. I'm thinking that the state is not. I'm saying this for California because I don't think that the state. I think that the state is misrepresented, and I've said that. I think the entire country has been misrepresented when it comes to what our Congress actually does. Are they upholding their oath of office? I think that's where the problem has come in. I mean, California Assembly right now, they are busy as they can be passing all of these all of these ideological bills and resolutions. I mean, I think we're up to reparations right now.
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
with the deficit like ours, we're up to
They got a
a
6-month period for the reparations thing, and they got a year to figure out how they're going to just distribute it. So,
well, but with a deficit, you're not you're the unemployment benefits from this pandemic. How does that work? Does that make the people as a whole, the state as a whole, is not in the better shape with them
So-
doing all these are pet projects. The
So with this-
entire thing, the entire agenda is pet projects, and it's crushing the middle class. It has sent many people to the streets. We've got people that this is not to make light of them. We have people that look like amateurs right now on the street. If it's possible to look like an amateur homeless person, you got people that look freshly homeless. The beaches are full. The cars are full. Cars are full of people who are still working. They're working. They're going to work. They're driving nice cars, but they're living at their cars at the beach because that moratorium ended. And look at this Congress. I think everybody should do their diligence and look at your congressmen's backgrounds. Look at their record. Look at their constitutional voting records to see how they vote. If they are voting against, if they're voting against their oath of office, then they're not voting for the people, and those funds are not getting to the people. A lot of people did not get funds. A lot of scam has gone on with this last HEROES Act and the holdup right now. I don't think we're any closer to anything for those people that need it the most. So there's my piece on that. Thanks.
Well, go ahead, Arthur.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. You know, I don't think Congress is doing much of anything right now. Even on the Republican side, you know, I believe there's do nothing Democrats, a lot of them, but I also believe there's a lot of do nothing Republicans. And you know, the Republicans didn't really come up with a platform this year. They just said they're going with whatever Donald Trump wants to do, which that's cool, but I think you should have contributed something. You should have done something. Like, we're paying you to do something to legislate, and you're not doing that. So what are we paying you for? You know, there's a lot of things that we need to get done. I believe we should be legislating about social media censorship. That's a big thing for me, because that's why we're getting so much misinformation out there, is because people on the left are able to say whatever they want, and then they censor everyone on the right who has a different opinion. So if we can get some Section 230 reform, I think that would benefit a lot of Americans. I think it will also stop some of the civil unrest, because when you can get both sides of the story out there, then people can decide if that police officer was actually racist, or if it was just a situation where he had to defend himself. But you can't hear both sides anymore, because the social media giants will shut you down if you don't agree with them.
It's basically illegal to have your own
It is.
opinion.
Yeah.
Hate speech.
Yep.
Disinformation.
Right.
So, I mean, right now, well, go ahead. You go ahead.
No, you go ahead. My mic was on mute. It's bad audio management here today. Keep going.
Well, all I was about to say was, I mean, pretty much, it goes from as far as the past week, debate to the virus to the outcome right now. That's where we at. We go from the debate to the virus to the outcome. Not even naming the virus, because they're not about to take this video down. But for real, people need to realize that from the debate, even if you don't agree, Trump did good. I'm saying, this is my opinion. He didn't do his best, but that's it. Doing your best and doing good is two different things. You can do good and not do your best. You could be sidetracked based on your emotions but still did your best as far as logic. Sidetrack dealing with two people debating you, and I'm gonna hold that to the highest standard. Now they want to change the rules. Now they want to change. Now they want to change the rules of the debate. So I wonder what they're gonna change the rules to, and beyond that, it's almost like they know COVID ain't gonna take them down. We're preparing for the next debate.
Well, they said that they said the new rule could be that they can cut someone's mic off if they're talking too much or if
And
they're
beyond,
interrupting.
another rule is they wanted one mic, so you wouldn't even have to cut the other person's mic off. One mic in the middle in the middle. You go up to the mic, you talk. You go back to your podium. That's it. Moderator, next person talk. Next 2 minutes. That's it. Go back to your podium. Moderator. So they're really making it unrealistic as far as rebuttals, but they are making it realistic as far as advantages on being charged with responses. If I got 2 minutes to sit back and listen to what you got to say, I'm a strong believer in allowing somebody the space to mess up. So if I know if you talk for 2 minutes without me interrupting, knowing you're a slip up and you have spoofs in the way you speak, it's gonna show up without me even trying. So I'm gonna give you enough rope to hang yourself, and I'm gonna have so much stuff to say after your 2 minutes is done. So that is the biggest come up that we did. If he trained for that next debate, as far as 12-day window now, anyway. But yeah, because they can't even say he can't do the next debate because they pushed the 10 days. They went to 14 days to the 10 days, and now it's 12 days since it was 2 days ago. So now that's where we at right now. You know, about to be 11 days now. I mean 9 days now. So 11, I guess. But yeah, we're right around the corner. Literally right around the corner. So in my eyes, me knowing how the president thinks he's so high energy, he's already preparing. He has a list of things. In my eyes, if you're a wise young man, he has the list of things that he didn't say last time that he should have said. One is God. As a matter of fact, Oscar, tell me a few things that Trump should have said before I go on the memory gambit in my brain of what I thought he should have said. Because I'm having a little brain freeze right now. But tell me what you think he should have said that he didn't say based on a sidetrack and talking to two people at one time.
Well, the biggest thing that everybody will point out is he should have handled the question about condemning white supremacists better. I mean, I don't know how many times you need to be asked the same question and how many times you have to say, yes, I condemn white supremacy. Why does Trump have to condemn white supremacy like he actually had some kind of association with white supremacists? Like he had white supremacist friends. Like he spoke at a former KKK member's funeral, like Joe Biden. That didn't happen for Trump. So why did he have to condemn white supremacy? But I think he could have handled that question better. But I think they kind of threw him off with the way that they asked the question. And he had Joe Biden saying the Proud Boys when the media will tell you Trump brought up the Proud Boys. No, he didn't. Joe Biden brought up the Proud Boys. So that's one. The other one is with the whole tax thing, saying that he only paid $750 in taxes. Now, if Trump would have went on my Instagram page, then he would have been better equipped to handle that question, because if you read that New York Times article that says that Trump only paid $750 in taxes, if you go all the way down, because it's a long, long article, if you scroll not all the way down, kind of like maybe 3/4 of the way down, They actually say that in 2016, Trump prepaid taxes of $1 million, and in 2017, he prepaid taxes of $4.2 million. So the $750 was his tax liability, meaning he didn't pay quite enough. There was $750 left for him to pay, but he had already paid millions of dollars in taxes. So that same article that the media has been running with as their source to say Trump only paid $750 in taxes, they completely conflated the story. They completely twisted and turned everything just so they could run with this false narrative. And if you would have just read the article, then you would have saw that they were pretty much lying in the beginning of the article. The first paragraph said Trump only paid $750 in taxes in 2016 and 2017. In the same article, they said that he paid millions of dollars in taxes, and $750 was the amount that was left for both years.
I'm just gonna give about a minute or two on it, but it's specifically gonna be based on
what's that?
Exactly what we're talking about.
That's very interesting. I have not gotten into the taxes myself, but I've heard the outrage. Of course, I've heard, and I'm sure you've had some people. They're going to look at the first thing that they see, and they're going to stop there, or they're going to look at what CNN's reporting or MSNBC's reporting on his taxes, and then there you go. Now we're back to the class warfare, or demonized capitalism, and that's just been. They've been running on that. I've never seen so many people parrot the same talking points. I mean, when I look at the youth, or you want to call them the millennials, they all say the exact same things. Yeah. It's the saddest. And these are new. If I can say, these are new graduates. These are graduates, America's graduates,
trained
that have come out of college this spring. I'm not even talking about the ones from the summer. These are just the ones from the spring that are mocking the same things and running 100% on emotion. 100%.
100%. You're right.
100%.
And so DJ, you have one more video for us?
Yep. It's gonna be a small clip based on exactly what we're talking about, y'all. Let's get into it.
I'm probably going to mute for the audio here for the background noise.
Look at this just total numbskull. Check this out.
I'll tell you what.
When you buy from Amazon, you're supporting artists like myself. That's exactly what you're getting when you get on it.
Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing. This is a left-wing problem.
White supremacist. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got it.
Not militia. That's what his FBI. His FBI director said.
Well, then you know what?
No, we're done, sir. We're moving on to the next. We're moving on.
Okay, Joe Biden must have missed this video of Antifa, the idea, murdering someone on the streets of Portland. You may want to check this one out, Joe.
Hey, we got a couple right here. Hold it out. Right here. You okay?
Tough to watch, huh? Now, to be clear, ideas do kill people. Socialism kills hundreds of millions, but it's actually people who pull the trigger. And when those people who pull the trigger say, I am Antifa, maybe Joe Biden should listen. But he can't, because he's a numbskull. And again, I think he caught on halfway through the debate to the tactic, and now he's trying to backtrack to cater to his leftist lunatics, realizing he went down a rabbit hole, and Trump played him like a Stradivarius. All right. Getting ahead of the next Trump is a racist fairy tale, which really, folks, I'm not kidding. I, as my friends and listeners, I've corresponded with a lot of you, via communication channels on social media and elsewhere. I can't take it anymore. Listen, I'm just going to ask you a simple question. It's a very simple question because, again, I'm getting this from Trump supporters this morning who fell for the dopey white supremacist hoax last night. Again, this is like the 5,000th Trump is a white supremacist hoax. Very simple question, and we can put all this to bed. Do you believe Trump is a grand wizard in the Ku Klux Klan, that he's a bigoted, misogynistic, racist, xenophobe? If you do, and you bought that hoax, he's not your guy, okay? I wouldn't vote for him either if I believe that, right? Who'd want to vote for a white supremacist, xenophobic, racist? Well, who would? The answer is nobody. Right. If you believe that, stop texting me because you fell for it, because nobody believed that. Nobody even said that or hinted that before Trump ran as a Republican, meaning it's probably fake. So last night, this happened again. He was asked a question I can't even take. Will you disavow David Duke? Trump's like, yes, I will disavow. When the Charlottesville thing happened, I completely condemn the white supremacists. None of this is good enough because the media wants you to believe Trump's a white supremacist. If you're dumb enough to fall for that, he's not your guy. Don't vote then because you're not smart enough to process information. I'm very sorry. Because it's starting again today with even conservative people. Oh my gosh, he fumbled the white supremacist court. Did he? Let's look at this article at Breitbart. Be in the show notes today. Read it. Bongino.com/newsletter is how you access the show notes. Fact check. The transcript of the debate shows Trump agreed to condemn white supremacists. Standby followed Wallace's prompt, talking about the Proud Boys. Want to read the actual transcript or the takeaways? And you know what? Forget the transcript. We'll play the video. Here's from the Breitbart. Here's the actual takeaways from those of you who've been told this morning that Trump fumbled the white supremacy question. Again, you believe he's a white supremacist? No, I don't believe it. Then why are you bringing this up? Breitbart. 3 things are clear from the transcript below. And we'll play the video in a second. Chris Wallace refused to accept sure for an answer about this white supremacist condemnation question and demanded Trump condemn extremists on stage. He only demanded Trump do that, by the way. Wallace is the one who introduced the stand down language, not Trump, who was doing what he was asked, condemn white supremacists. Trump's answer was sure. Biden is the one who demanded Trump condemn the Proud Boys, a right-wing group, and Trump complied. 4, Biden refused to condemn Antifa, saying it was, quote, an idea, not an organization. Wallace then tried to end the argument. Want to see the exchange again? Pay very close attention when he's asked to condemn white supremacists to exactly what Donald Trump says. And tell me again how you got snookered into another media narrative about how Trump is a grand wizard in the Ku Klux Klan. This is just really stupid now, folks. Really, really stupid. Play the video.
Are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
are you
I'm willing
prepared
to
to
do
specifically
that, but
do it? Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. You want to call them? What do you want to call them? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
who would
right
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys. Stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing.
Again, I'm just really, really sorry for all the conservative virtue signaling talking head suckers out there who are tweeting, oh my gosh, Trump blew it on the white supremacist question. How exactly did he do that? Do you want to condemn white supremacists? Sure. Give me a name to condemn them with. You know why Trump said that? Because no matter what he says, the media will run with the narrative that he didn't condemn white supremacists, and you fell for it. Not you and my audience. Some of these, virtue signaling, highbrow conservative companies, he fumbled. He did not fumble anything. He has said repeatedly, I completely condemn white supremacy, as everybody should. Any form of racial discrimination based on skin color is obviously a scourge and cancer on our society. Obviously. What else do you want the guy to say?
All right. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. And yes, thank you for sharing that, DJ. And what we're going to do now is I just want to go around and do just if you guys have any words, we're going to conclude this stream, but I want to just get a final word or a final thought from each of you, and also where we might find you on social media. Any social media handles that you have, you are more than welcome to disseminate those here today. And if I can be of any help with that, then I will do that. So we'll start with Oliver, Right Winged Angel. Thank you so much for being here today. Sorry.
Appreciate the platform. Oh, no, it's okay.
Go ahead. You're good now. I'm sorry about the mute there.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here. You can find me on pretty much all platforms, but I started off on Instagram, so that's where the majority of my following is. So you can find me on Instagram. The handle is right_winged. WINGED _angel. You can find me on Facebook. Just search Right Winged Angel. I have a Facebook business page and I have a Facebook personal page. You can find me there. I'm on Twitter under Oliver Mack RWA. I'm on Parler. Just search Right Winged Angel. And I'm also on YouTube. So I just started a YouTube channel. I have only 3 videos up, but I'm just trying to grow it. Just trying to get the message out there, guys. I believe that if we let our country fall to the left, then it's going to be nothing but destruction. It's going to be nothing but chaos. It's going to be a horrible future for you, your family, your kids, your friends, everybody, because I believe they're going to destroy this country. How can you lead a country that you hate? How can you lead a country that you hate? And Joe Biden already said that he wants to transform this nation. I think this nation is good like it is. So leave it alone. There are things that we could improve on, little things that we could improve on. But to say you want to transform this nation, I believe will only lead to bad things. So we cannot let Joe Biden get in office. To everyone, please be. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, you're good. You're still good. You're still there.
I went out. I always say this to everyone, just please be active, do what you can to spread the right information out there, because there's so much disinformation going around that we need to let people know what's real. And get out there and vote. Do what you need to do. If you're a Trump supporter, wear your Trump gear, go out there, protest, march, whatever. We need to spread the message. We don't have much time until November 3rd. So please get out there, do what you need to do. Find someone who you like, who you support, who's a conservative, help them out, help them spread the message, whatever you got to do. We got to get Trump reelected. Trump 2020. You guys follow me. I'm out.
Thank you so much, Oliver, for sharing that. Also, AKA Right Winged Angel. I did put the links into the stream. I put your IG in, and I did put your YouTube in. So hopefully that's helpful. And thank you so much. And DJ Vision Barnett, if you will share your handles as well.
So I'm on here for DJ Vision. You can see it on the screen. DJ Vision Barnett, and also on IG. Vessi LLC, VESI_LLC. That's for my nonprofit, Victory Executive Security International. Rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man also, and teaching self-governing skills, agriculture, firearm safety, and self-governance on your own business. So there's no excuse that the white man is on your neck. So that's my handle, and I appreciate y'all for joining. Like, follow, share, and subscribe. And also got mugs, t-shirts, America First. Here we go. America First all day. So like I say, appreciate you guys for following. Like, follow, share, and subscribe, and check me out.
All right. Once again, I'd like to thank the guest, DJ Vision Barnett, and Right Winged Angel, thank you both so much for being on, and I hope I look forward to seeing you guys around, and check out Black Spring with Autumn. I am on right now. I'm down to 1 day, but the flash streams they could be anywhere. The Moonlight streams could be anywhere, and you guys are always welcomed here. Thank you guys so much for joining me from the other platforms. Right Winged Angels platform, as well as DJ Vision Barnett's platform. And shout out to the loyal patrons, Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, Let the Truth Be Told, AZ Infidel, and Cold War Jesus. Thank you guys, and have a great week. And I'll see you guys later in the week. All right, my friends. Thank you guys so much. I hope that wasn't too painful for you in terms of the structure. I will be doing a little bit more on the structure, but I think I was very, very thankful and very pleased to have you both on. And thank you so much, Right Wing Angel, for coming on. And I really appreciate your thoughts, your convictions, your points, and yes, and hopefully that the stream and I think you were well received, and I had to toss someone out from Periscope, but it happens. I ended up tossing out one of my people. I got to get better at this. I got to do better along with the trolls. We all have to do better at what we're doing. And thank you so much, DJ. So if you guys have anything, like, we're backstage now, you can let your hair down, whatever you want.
Oh, it looks like we're still live.
No, we're not still live. We actually